Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. And this is my first impressions look on the Way of Wade Shadow 4. So this shoe is going for 120 bucks, and if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and in this colorway we have a solid white rubber outsole, and we have like a zigzag line. It kind of reminds me of the game Snake. I don't know if you guys, you younger people know what the game Snake is, but that's what it kind of reminds me of, right? Or maybe like a maze or something. But anyways, yeah, so how does the traction feel on my wood floors? It feels really nice. You know, it has a really nice solid bite, and also has a very loud and high-pitched squeak. Of course, that has nothing to do with performance, but you know, I just like to have a little bit of squeak as well from my ball shoes, right? So yeah, it's feeling really good so far. I mean, that was the downfall of the previous Shadow, you know, the Shadow 3. I didn't really like it all too much because the traction wasn't very good. So I'm hoping the Shadow 4 is an improvement in traction. Also, it is made for outdoor use. It says specifically on their website that it's durable rubber. So the rubber is super hard, the grooves are deep and thick, so it should be fine playing on an outdoor court with the Shadow 4. Also, we can see it's a pretty interesting midfoot chain plate, you know, in the middle of the outsole. It's like this plastic piece, but also there's holes exposing the midsole as well. And we have these plastic rectangles on the lateral and medial sides on the actual cushion, which is a weird design, but overall the traction feels really good. And also another plus is it's not super rounded, but it has a little bit of a rounded shape right here. You know, definitely nothing compared to the outsole curvature found in like the MB1 or like the Kyrie's, but there is a little rounded shape, and as you guys can see, the rubber does come up on the medial side for extra grip if you're doing these types of movements, which does feel nice. I do like that addition right there. So the traction overall is feeling really nice so far. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it feels pretty smooth so far as well, right? So here in the heel we have a nice rounded shape, and we got cloud foam is pretty damn nice. I don't like it all too much sometimes because it's a pretty heavy foam, right? It's a high density foam, but for the most part it's a nice foam because it's soft, right? And if you feel it with your finger, there's a good amount of compression and it feels nice. And also here in the forefoot we have a nice curved shape and a good amount of forefoot flex. You know, it still feels a little rigid. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it, but overall it's a pretty flexible forefoot. But torsional support seems good because of the midfoot shin plate, and also I feel like this plays into it a little bit as well. You know, it's a plastic piece and doesn't allow this part to flex that much either. So overall, heel to toe transition feels pretty nice. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So we have a mix of foams. In the forefoot, we got a boom pod, and then we have full length cloud foam, right? It's just this black foam right here. So as far as the step and comfort goes, it's a little weird, right? So as far as the insole goes, the insole is not that nice because it's like a stiffer type of insole. You know what I mean? There's like not a lot of foam to it, which sucks because if you look at the actual strobo board, it's a mesh strobo board found in the WoW 10, and the cloud foam feels really soft and nice. You know what I mean? So I feel like the stiffer insole makes it so that you can't feel the strobo board, or it makes it so that I can't feel the strobo board as much. But yeah, it's actually pretty damn soft. It feels great. And then here in the forefoot, you can feel the boom pod a little bit. You know, I can feel it a little bit with my fingers, but when I have the insole in, it's a little bit hard to feel because it's like stiff. You know what I mean? So I wish they would have made maybe the insole a little bit thinner, or maybe made the insole a little bit softer, like a regular Ortholite foam insole. You know what I mean? So hopefully that breaks in, but I do like how they implemented that, and I feel like every single shoe company needs to implement that mesh strobo board, you know what I mean? Also here in the heel we have a little bit of compression, but for the most part it's very caged. Like the rubber outsole comes up to cage the cloud foam a lot, but one good thing about the cushioning setup is that it's very low to the ground. It doesn't look like it's low to the ground though, right? But you have really good core feel in this shoe, which I do like. So for the most part, I feel like it'll be good. You know, it's low to the ground, but it feels pretty comfortable because cloud foam is soft. Step and comfort feels overall pretty nice as well. Hopefully the insole, I don't know, maybe gets a little bit softer once I break it in, put some heat and sweat into it, you know. And then the forefoot, you know, hopefully it gets a little bit softer as well because this mesh strobo board is pretty much going throughout the entire footbed, right? So yeah, overall I do like the cushioning setup. It feels pretty nice so far. Moving on to the materials, so we have what they're calling the Ultra Shell Upper, and it's pretty much like this mesh material. They're calling it a high performance plastic, which, okay, cool, but it's just plastic, right? And also we have a lot of freaking fuse around everything, you know what I mean, like here in the toe box, here around the laces, the eyelets, and also like in the medial side. So I mean, like the fuse doesn't feel great for quality, you know, it's like a cheaper type of fuse kind of, but look at this, super thin. A really thin material, but also very supportive. There's not a whole lot of stretch to it. It feels overall very supportive. Conforms to your foot extremely well too. You know, there's no pinching or anything, so overall it feels nice on foot. And honestly, for 120 bucks, it's not that bad for quality, right? Then here in the midfoot, it stays extremely thin. For the laces, we got some rope laces, and for the tongue, we have like pretty minimal padding. It's made of a mesh material, and also it's a half booty construction tongue, which does keep the tongue in place, and also it improves the overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have a good bit of padding here on the sides, right, where kind of like your ankle bone is as well, but it's kind of weird because there's not a whole lot of foam in the like where your Achilles is, which is where shoes usually put most of their foam. So that's kind of weird, but it doesn't feel bad. It actually feels nice and cozy here in the back of the shoe. And look at this, we have like an Air Max unit kind of. It's like this plastic. It doesn't do anything because there's so much foam already inside of the shoe that you can't really feel this at all. So I don't really know why they added that. And also on the medial side, we have screen mesh, like a steel screen mesh, just kind of weird. And then here in the heel, we have, it looks like carbon fiber, but it's not. You know, it's just like a, I don't know what type of material it is, but it's just like the texture is just like, it looks like carbon fiber, right? And also we have the Way of Wade logo, and it says 10, which is weird because it's not the 10, it's the Shadow 4, it's the WoW 10, so that's, I don't know why they put that there. But yeah, overall materials feel nice, you know, it feels thin, feels supportive, it conforms to my foot, so overall it's comfortable. Not the best for quality, but it's not terrible, and honestly for the $120 price tag, I feel like it's justified, right? Alright, moving on to the fit, I went up half a size, and I would suggest you go up half a size as well, because it is a very snug fit, right? So I went up half a size and it's still a really snug fit for me. So here in the toe box, it's snug, I do like that. It's not like KD 13 snug, where it's like choking my foot out, but it's a nice, like, I would say it's like a perfect fit. It pretty much fits me like a glove. Also, there is a little bit of length, but it's not a huge deal. I feel like it's okay. I feel like if I went true to size and it was a little bit shorter, it would probably be a little bit tighter here in the toe box, and it would definitely be narrower as well. So yeah, I mean, it's still a pretty narrow fit for me as well here in the forefoot. So I would suggest most people go up half a size. If you have a really narrow or skinny foot and you want a really snug fit, then probably go true to size. But if you don't want that like really snug fit, then probably go up half a size. For most people, if you have a really wide foot or you want a really roomy fit, probably go up a full size, right? For the most part, it feels pretty damn nice for me. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, overall it feels like it's gonna be good. This material is fused up pretty well and it feels really supportive right here. And the foam does come up acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot. We have this plastic piece coming up to act as a sidewall just a tiny bit. And then here in the heel we have, feels like an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment feels good, and also lateral stability. Look at that. Look at how much the midsole and outsole protrude out right here. Right, so it's a very low to the ground and wide base, so that feels good. And overall, very weird because companies don't make high tops that much anymore, but the Shadow 4 feels like it's gonna have pretty good ankle support, right? It's a very rigid and stiff material here, and once I tighten up the laces, it has pretty good ankle mobility restriction, so it feels pretty nice so far for ankle support. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, I feel like it's gonna be like around average maybe. We got 12.63 ounces. Let's check the other pair. 12.66 ounces. So that's pretty much average weight. And it feels like average weight. It doesn't feel super light. It doesn't feel super heavy. It also doesn't feel that bulky. You know, overall, it feels very minimal and thin. Like in the front of the shoe, here in the back of the shoe, it does feel a little bit more cozy because of the extra like foam in the ankle area. So yeah, honestly, it feels like a nice balanced weight. I do like how it feels on foot so far as well. Now moving on to the aesthetics, it's alright. I definitely do like this colorway, but it looks kind of weird, especially like this rectangle shape on the midsole. That's kind of weird as well. And like they're just using like primary shapes like this triangle. So overall, I mean, I like this colorway, but the silhouette is alright to me. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Shadow 4 is looking nice. You know, I do like the cushioning setup. The traction feels really nice. Material overall feels thin but supportive. It fits me pretty damn well, and support feels like it's gonna be good. So I'm pretty damn excited about the Shadow 4. My first impressions so far are looking pretty damn good. So anyways, that about wraps it up for my first impressions of the Way of Wade Shadow 4. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.